Hello all. This is like a real quick one. Somebody asked me to show some of the things that I had picked up from my thrifting retro, because I usually do my shopping and then I just end it at the end of shopping and never really show you what I got. So this is going to be like a kind of a mini kind of things of some of the things that I picked up that are probably not going to be worth anything to you, but they mean a hell of a lot to me, or they might mean a lot to you too. So starting off was one of the things that I have been searching for in thrifting for the longest time. These are the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I want to be able to collect every one of them if I can. I can't remember how many there is, but I think it's almost close to 200 of them. This is one that I read when I was probably about 13 years old. It's The Abominable Snowman, and you can see it's, what was it, Batnam Books? Yeah, Batnam Books. This is like the original series. They eventually came out with a reprint of them with new covers and some new art, but they kind of kept the inside the same. I mean, look how cheesy this art is. But what was great about these books is that my parents couldn't really afford like the high quality video game systems that were out there at the time, so I went to the library and I found this and just decided to read it, only to find that you start off the story reading like the beginning of the story, then you have choices at the bottom of the pages that tell you if you choose this, go to page, and if you choose that, go to the other page. Then you go to the other page and you find out whether or not you died, whether or not you survived, and you make more choices and keep flipping through the pages. So it was kind of like a really awesome video game that didn't have pixelized graphics because you can use your imagination. This is The Lost Amazon. This one I didn't read. I don't think. For some reason I recognize some of the art in here, so maybe I did. Or probably didn't read it in time and had to return it to the library. This is Escape. I know I didn't read this one. But look at this beautiful art. Oh my god. How can this not bring you back? Look at the disgusting colors, you know? I love it. It's awesome. So that's those. Here are the others that I found. These are the reprints. That one's different. So these are the newer editions, released by a totally different, here it is, Choose a Go. I guess they got the rights to the Choose Your Own Adventure, and they kind of show you on the back, which is a cool idea. Like you start the story here, if you make a choice here and here, but there's multiple paths in this one. This one you just go directly to two choices, and you know, and so on and so on. So you have multiple different endings all the way throughout. So it's like playing a video game. You see, this art looks a little bit more modernized compared to the 80s kind of sketching. So this is number 5, so this is definitely a reprint. House of Danger. This one definitely keeps the old style drawings. Possessed, number 161. Don't know. And Track of the Bear. Really cool. I really have lots of retro feels definitely getting these books, because I was just absolutely blown away about how complicated the stories were, which video games could not offer. Maybe games like Dungeons and Dragons, you know, board games, but I never played that, so this was like the most realistic kind of gaming for me, and I was so super stoked to find these. I found these at the Staples over by the Meriden Mall. Every thrift store I've gone to, I've never found any of them, but the 2 times I went there, or maybe 3 times, I keep finding more and more, so I have to go back there and see if I can find more of these books. I mean, you know, the reprints are cool to have, just to add to my collection, but having the originals, just, you know, this awesome retro border, that is just awesome. And this I found next to one of them. It's actually kind of like the Choose Your Own Adventure, but with Mario. Not very many graphics in here, but there you go. It's a Pringles edition, made by, now I had also found these at the Savers near me. These really brought back a lot of retro feels to me because when I was a kid, like I said, my mother couldn't afford very much. So I loved having books, magazines, catalogs, things like that, so that way I could browse through them and think about all the things that I want to buy someday, things that I really, really want. And God, this art was just absolutely terrible. But it had screenshots, you know. That's something that's was kind of new back then. You know, nowadays they're all full page. Back then they had like little kind of circular frames. Night Driver, I remember playing that one at Dello. I don't know what kind of game that was. I never played it when I was a kid because it just didn't make any sense. Pele Soccer, that was a big seller. Adventure, everybody knows what that is. Video Pinball, played that a lot. Love the colors in that game back then. I didn't care about baseball when I was a little kid, but I wish I was because, you know, I don't know. Basic programming. Ah, okay. I didn't know that was in this catalog. That's the next thing up. This I really love and I cherish. I'm going to keep this forever and ever. Because I did have this when I was a kid and I used to stay up late night just constantly looking through this. That basic programming is here. This was also in the same bag. Because Savers has these bags where they throw a bunch of items in and you can save money. This was in there with it. Basic Programming Instruction Manual for the Atari 2600. I didn't know what that was. I don't remember that when I was a kid, but I probably wasn't very interested since I was a kid, and you know. So, and look at that art. God, so retro. This was for MASH for the Atari 2600. I actually used to like to watch this show when I was a kid, even though I didn't really understand its adult content, but I wish I could, maybe I could find the ROM for this or something and give it a try, because it looks like it's pretty complicated for an Atari 2600 game. You know, you're fighting in a battlefield, you're doing surgery. That's just really cool. And then this was something that one of my neighbors had. His name was Steven, who lived next to me. I played it and I freaking loved it. It had much better graphics than the Atari 2600. The Donkey Kong looked like the actual arcade. I mean, not, you know, for a home version. But I loved how this catalog would show the arcade cabinets with the pages. I mean, this was a great system. Much better graphics. The controls are really cool. This was a huge game at the time when the ColecoVision came out. This game, my family loved this. Horse racing, head-to-head baseball, head-to-head football. And this one my friend had, Smurf. That was big around the time that this came out. Really wanted it. It had beautiful graphics for a video. Oh no, this is the one. Smurf, Rescue Gargamel's Castle. This is the one that my friend had, and I could not believe how awesome the graphics were. It was a side-scrolling adventure. It was just really cool. Expansion modules and all the extra controllers. Now this was something I picked up from another thrifting store. I'm running out of time here, so I gotta change batteries. But I used to love the Batman Detective comics. These. And these are in really great shape. Batman New Adventures. This one I didn't read. But I love this art. And I love the Spiderman comics, so I picked that up too. So that's it for now. I've got to change batteries and then I'll start up another episode when I do. See ya.